In this video, we're going to be taking a look at multiplying mixed numbers, and the essential question that we are going to try to unlock is, how do you multiply mixed numbers? Now, what I want you to do is turn your Go Math books to page 325, and we will take a look at this. Now, the problem reads, 1/3 of a 1 1/4 acre park has been set aside as a dog park. Find the number of acres that are used as a dog park. Okay, so what we'll need to do first is we want to shade the model to represent the whole park. Okay, so we have the whole park is 1 1/4 acre. Okay, so we will shade 1 1/4 acre in on our model. So we'll shade in a total of 1 representing the whole number, and then 1/4 representing the fraction. Okay, now what we need to do is divide the 1 1/4 into a third. Why a third? Is because 1/3 of the park has been set aside as a dog park. So I will just have each section divided up into thirds. Okay, now what we need to do is double shade the model to represent the part of the park that is a dog park. So what we will need to do is shade in 1/3 of what's already shaded in. So you can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 spaces already shaded in once we divide up into thirds, and I did 5 out of those 15 already shaded in. Okay, so how many parts does each rectangle show? Let's take a look at this. Each rectangle shows 1, 2, 3, 4. So each rectangle shows a total of 12. So 4, 8, and 12. So what fraction of each rectangle is shaded twice? What we have 4/12 and also 1/12. So we have 4/12 plus 1/12 equals 5/12. We need to write this in on page 325. So we see that 5/12 of an acre has been set aside. Okay, now what we can do is rename, another way to do this is rename the mixed number as an improper fraction. Okay, so we have multiply 1/3 times 1 1/4. So our first step is to write the mixed number as a fraction greater than 1. So we have 1/3 times 1/4 equals 1/3. We just rewrite the regular fraction, okay? And then what we do here is we multiply the denominator by the whole number, then add the numerator, which gives us 5/4. Okay, then from here, what we do is we multiply the fraction, multiply 1/3 times 5/4. So we have 1 times 5 will give us 5. 3 times 4 will give us 12. So 1/3 times 1 1/4 is 5/12. So you can see, first step, change this mixed number to an improper fraction and then multiply your two fractions together. So let's take a look at the problem on page 326, the example number 1 problem. And it says multiply 12 times 2 and 1/6, and let's go through these problems together. It says write the product in simplest form, so we need to do that. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to determine how the product will compare to the greater factor. Okay, so 12 times 2 and 1/6, what will it be? It's going to be greater than 12. Why greater than 12? Because we are multiplying two whole numbers together. Okay, so I'll just do GT. I do want you to write greater than. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to write the whole number, and mixed number is fraction. Okay, so the whole number, whenever we have a whole number, we talked about this before, it's going to be 12 over 1. Okay, so any whole number written as a fraction will always be over 1. And then what we need to do is change that mixed number to an improper fraction. We multiply the denominator by the whole number, then add the numerator. So 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 gives us 13. Now what we do from here is we multiply both numerators together. 12 times 13 will give us 156. Denominators together, then multiply them. 1 times 6 will give you 6. And then we're going to change this to we're going to reduce this, I should say. This improper fraction will reduce it to 26 over 1, or just 26. Okay, so we have the answer of 12 times 2 and 1 6 is 26. Okay, so now we have 16 times 4 and 1/8, and we're going to use the distributive property. That means that we can expand the problem, okay, if we need to. So we have 16 times 4 and 1/8. So what we can do here is we've taken that 4 and 1/8 and we've made it into 4 plus 1/8. Okay, and then from here, what we can do actually is multiply 16 by each number. Okay, so we have 16 times 4. Okay, so we have 16 times 4, and that's going to give us 64. And then plus, we're going to have 16 times 1/8. Okay, so 16 times 1/8 is actually 16 over 8 equaling 2. Okay, and then from here, what we have is we have our 64 plus 2 is going to give us 66. So you can see how we expanded that problem using the distributive property. So now we have 16 times 4 and 1/8 is 66. Let's take a look at this problem together. What you need to do is multiply the product and put it in simplest form. Okay, so the first step we need to do is we need to change both mixed numbers into improper fractions. So we can take that 1 2/3, and what we do from there, we take 1 2/3, and that actually gives us 7/3. I'm sorry, 5/3, my mistake. So 5/3. And then from here we take 3 times 5, giving us 15, adding 4 to that, giving us 19. So we have 5 times 19, giving us 95. 3 times 5 is 15. And then we change that into a mixed number, will give us 6 and 1/3. Okay, let's do number 2 together. So we have 1/2 times 1 1/3, and we're going to shade the model in first of all, representing 1 1/3. Okay, so we'll have to shade in 1 whole, and then also 1/3 of the other piece. And then from here we need to divide it into half, I should say. And then what we will have here is we have a total of, you can see, 8 total pieces shaded in. And what we need to do is shade in half of those 8 pieces. We'll shade those in yellow. So 1, 2, 3, 4 total pieces. And since this is representing 2 separate pieces, we could see that there are 4 total pieces shaded in out of 6, which gives us 4/6, and reducing that to simplest terms would be 2/3. So I want you to do these problems all by yourself. When you're finished, you can press play and I will have the answers for you. Just keep in mind with this one, you're just multiplying 3 fractions, so you just multiply another step there. Okay, so when you're finished with these problems, you can press play and I will have the answers for you. Pause the video now. Okay, here are the answers for you. 1 1/8, 13 1/2, and finally 2. Okay, I want you to do these problems as well in your book, and you can use the distributive property if you would like, or you can just do regular multiplication. So pause the video now. Okay, here are the answers, 26 and 45. Okay, I want you to work this final problem out all by yourself. When you're finished, you can press play, and I'll have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, here's the answer. You should have letter C, 8 1/2 cups. Now, to wrap up the video, let's take a look at our essential question. How do you multiply mixed numbers? What you can do is you can change the mixed numbers to fractions greater than 1, and then multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators, and do not forget to simplify. So that concludes the video on multiply mixed numbers. If you have any questions about this concept, please come and see me.